Alright everybody, welcome to our favorite kind of DSP video, Endure the King. Everyone loves this kind of video. It's the best video. Everyone loves it. Everyone loves it. I don't care what you say. But before we get into Ask the King, I want to go over this twit longer because DSP loves doing twit longers, I've noticed. He's been doing a lot of them this year alone. At this point, I think that twit longer should ban him because he's starting to put nonsense now in twit longers, but whatever. Let's read what he has to say, because this is kind of interesting. So, YouTube just announced changes to the demonetization algorithm by 2:30 a.m. Pacific. There should be 30% less vids flagged as unsuitable for all advertisers and demonetized. Well, 2 out of the 3 new Ask the King vids were demonetized. So does that mean the one that wasn't is part of the 30% improvement? More likely, YouTube employees are still fucking morons because they actually think they're going to fix this insanely broken system instead of just turning it off. Well, Phil, if they have made it so that 30% less videos are flagged, then that does sound like that they're slowly fixing it. The thing is that this demonetization stuff is not going to go anywhere. It's going to be forever on YouTube. It's going to be forever part of the website. Really, there's like no point in being like, oh my god, demonetization. You know, there's really nothing to whatever. And honestly, I'm kind of iffy on demonetization as well. I think it is annoying, and some of the people that are bringing it up have a reason to, because it's kind of flagging videos that aren't even explicit or whatever. I can understand where that side is coming from, but I don't think that demonetization in of itself entirely inherently bad. I just think it's a flawed system that YouTube obviously needs to refine, and that's what I was suspecting, and this kind of proves it. By the fact that it's 30% less videos, I just think that they're slowly going to improve the system so that only videos that are genuinely obvious, that should be deemed unsuitable, will be unsuitable. I think that it's just going to be an ongoing thing that they're eventually going to iron out. I don't think YouTube is just going to flat out drop the system, because, and you can argue, well, it's not working, Theo. The fucking flagging system doesn't work. I don't think YouTube cares if it's working or not, because ultimately, YouTube service is pretty, they make enough money as it is. They don't really they can do whatever the fuck they want with YouTube at this point. That's how much money they have. That's how much money they make on Google and all that shit. So, whatever. I just think it's dumb that he's kind of making this twit longer for no fucking reason. It's just kind of like he'll never be happy. Whatever improvement YouTube does with the demonetization, he will never be happy with, because I think deep down in his mind, he knows that his videos can easily be deemed that way, and he's just like, oh fuck, I can still be demonetized. They just get rid of it immediately because it inconveniences me. But again, like, if you are doing YouTube for a job, and you're like, well, whatever, you have to make shit work, but whatever. I mean, it's just kind of, I just want to talk about how interesting it is that he'll never be happy. It's like 30% less videos, and he's still complaining. Like, I feel like that it could be 90% less videos will be flagged, and he will still be upset about it. He'll still be upset because he wants 100%, and he doesn't want anything to inconvenience his revenue. But whatever, it's not a huge deal, but it's just kind of funny that he still complains about YouTube no matter what. Okay, so now we get on to Endure the King, Ask the King. So, as always, I like to answer the question before we watch his question. So the question he's answering is, will there be another video game crash like what happened with E.T. in the 1980s? I think it's very possible. I think it's very possible that it could crash, but not in the way that's like, okay, video games are not successful anymore. I think it's going to crash in the sense that the hardcore base are just not going to buy video games anymore. Now it's just going to be like, it's like Green Day. Green Day, like, a lot of people loved Green Day, but, way back when, and now it's like soccer moms love it, schools love it, casual fucking likes Green Day now. Now Green Day's uncool, but they're still successful because they still make a lot of money. They're not going anywhere. that's what video games going to turn into. I think that eventually it's just going to be saturated with casuals, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's not like, oh, filthy casuals, but I'm saying in the way that people who play games for challenge and all this stuff are just not going to be as diehard into video games as they once were. That's not meaning that they're going to be completely devoid of video games in their lives. They're still going to play them, but they're just not going to, give a fuck as much as they did in the past. Like, when I was like, when I had the N64 in the 90s and so on, I did see a lot of the ways that people talk about video games changed over the years. It went from like, oh man, I can't wait for the sequel of this game. Oh man, it's gonna be fucking insane. It's gonna be interesting. Now it's, oh great, a sequel. There's exceptions, of course. You're gonna be hyped for a sequel to a game you like, obviously, but it's just now it's like the movie industry where it's just kind of going through a creative bankruptcy almost, and I don't think that people are going to last that long in the video game industry as much, because now we're seeing companies incorporate more microtransactions, and that's kind of the thing with Shadow of War and those things like could lead to people just not buying video games anymore. And I've talked about this in a lot of other videos where people might say, well, Theo, what about the skip the boss fight thing? But the skip the boss fight thing is a free option, but even that, I could kind of understand, even to a degree, that could also lead to video games just crashing as well. I could kind of see that. It's just, it's still, to me, a free option that no one really has to worry about. But the thing is that might lead to is casuals getting more of a voice. But again, I don't think that there's anything wrong with people saying, I don't like games that are too hard. That's not like, how dare you say that kind of situation. It's a whole other thing. I might do a separate video on that in the future on my other channel someday, maybe. But I just think the video games can go crash still. There's still a possibility. I mean, I remember one of my friends back in back in high school was telling me that in Japan, at least, a lot of the console games there are kind of dying out. There's not a focus in gaming anymore there, and if there's not a strong focus in Japan, it's gonna eventually permeate to other places. So I don't know if that came into fruition or whatever, but it's still an issue. I mean, that could still happen. Anything can happen. But who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens. So let's hear what DSP has to say, because he's a real gamer.
Around. First question from Timic83. He says, do you think there will ever be a video game crash similar to the ET crash due to the oversaturation of the market? If you don't know what Timic is referencing,
I don't think the saturation is a bad thing for games, though. I don't think games are going to go away just because of an oversaturation of video games. Because with that logic, movies should be crashing as well, but movies are not really crashing. I mean, Netflix is putting into more stuff. I think movie theaters in of itself are crashing. I think they might be struggling, but the film industry itself doesn't, because they have other venues to kind of promote their work. So if theaters go away, they still have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, what have you.
Back in the 1980s, there was a big home console video game boom. All right.
Boom.
And what happened during this time period is Atari, what was it? The Odyssey, what was the third one? There was like 3 or 4 major home consoles that exploded. Arcades, video arcades started opening up throughout the...
Okay, I remember he said this. 3 to 4 consoles back then.
Country of the United States. Video games became a huge part of pop culture during the 1980s. And then, what ended up happening was that there was so much going on, oversaturation with these video games and too many consoles and too much competition, that there was a big video game crash. In particular, the biggest case of this was a video game called E.T., the Extraterrestrial. You guys might remember a movie called E.T., right?
Oh my god, really?
Well, this was the video game tie-in for
all the home consoles. Explain what E.T. is?
It was actually the Atari. It was the mass-produced for the Atari. Okay. I'm not even exaggerating. They made hundreds of... I don't know if the answer is actually hundreds of thousands or millions. They made a ridiculous amount of copies of E.T., thinking this game would be the biggest selling game ever since the movie was so popular. All right? The
I
game
never
was
saw
a
the movie,
piece
by
of
the
donkey
way.
shit. It was a little,
Donkey shit, man. I wonder, isn't that something that fucking James Rolfe says? Wow, dude. I don't know. That might be nitpicking.
8-bit at this point, just a
Never
little
mind.
pixelated ET walking around going blip, 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 and it would, you have to eat Reese's Pieces that were just a single pixel on the screen. You would constantly fall in holes. You had to hold a trigger button to get your ET to levitate out of these holes. It was basically a really bad game. Some of the worst sound effects I've ever...
Why are you talking about the game? Like, this is what I mean. This is why I think the bit stuff is a lot better for people, because he gives direct answers. He gives direct answers for 50 cents. But you can also pay $20 for this, where he just beats around the bush and drags out the answer. Like, in a Q&A, there's a... the conversation is fine to have a conversation, a well-thought-out conversation about the answer, but you want to give the answer out immediately. You want, like, the conversation to be about the answer. He gives so much information on like, superfluous, like, fluff shit. Like, do you really need the description of what E.T. is? You could just say, well, a game came out in the 1980s called E.T. based on the movie. The game was shit, and no one bought the game, and led to a big crash. And so, when I think about it today, this and that. There you go. But no, he has to explain every little thing. Well, there's Atari, there was this, there was that. Back in the 80s, there was a movie called E.T. Extraterrestrial. You might know this movie. It's directed by Steven Spielberg. He's a great guy. It's just like, come on.
In a video game, if you actually play this game with the sound on, it can actually hurt your ears. And I don't know what made them think that these was like a good...
Oh, it hurts your ears. Oh my god. It breaks my back. My back injury is because of E.T. I mean, let me tell you. Who fucking cares? And no one... And this is the first time I ever heard someone say that, the sound design, the game hurts my ears. It actually hurts your ears. Okay.
Good game at all, alright?
But it's low-hanging fruit
by
for
far
him.
one of the worst games ever made. I owned it. I actually owned it for the Atari 2600.
Okay.
I had a 7800, which was the higher model. See what I mean? Today we have the Xbox, the Xbox One S, and the Xbox One X, and the PS4 Pro, right? They did that back then, too. There was an Atari 2600, a middle one that was like 5400, and they had a 7800. They did the same thing back then. So basically, here we are, some 30 years later, and we're doing exactly the same shit that happened back then. Seriously.
Okay.
But anyway, I digress. They made so many copies of this game, and it didn't sell. No one wanted this game because the game was a piece of garbage, and basically the entire industry crashed. Like, they had all these games.
Okay, this is the thing why DSP is a fucking idiot, because there was more to the video game crash during that time. It wasn't just E.T. A lot of games were being ported to these home consoles that were terrible fucking ports, like Pac-Man. Pac-Man did not run anywhere near as good as it did in the arcade cabinets. So that contributed. A lot of these games contributed because a lot of the games tried to emulate the arcades and failed at it, and whatever. I mean, it's like there's a lot more stuff going on at that time than just, well, E.T. came out, fucked everything. Like, it was a lot of contributors to it.
Games were being mass-produced and no one was buying them. And a lot of these companies ended up either going out of business or basically lost a ton of money because the industry grew so big, there wasn't enough demand for it. And a lot of the games ended up being terrible and flops and just failed miserably.
So,
the question is, will there be another video game crash due to oversaturation?
Like, he's acting as if it's like the stock market. Video games are not like the stock market. It's not like, oh, well, they go up and down. It's just whatever. Video games are not going anywhere because they get consistent revenue, regardless. Like, let's say that, today, because today is such a big day, I'm recording this on Friday, when 3 games came out, guys. So, if, let's say, Assassin's Creed Origins doesn't sell, it sells like 1 copy, does that mean that, oh, well, video game crash because that game didn't sell well? No. It just means that Assassin's Creed might go away. So it is what it is.
Didn't I just mention, so there was 3 models of the Atari, now there's 3 models of the Xbox One. You see what I mean? It seems like a lot of the things are going the same direction. If you look at a lot of...
multiple model, whatever. Never
Games
mind.
today. You would think that games like Middle-earth Shadow of War, The Evil Within 2.
Oh yeah, Shadow of War.
You know, these games would be ginormous sellers,
That
right?
hype game.
But they're not. If you actually look, there's been a lot of reports that these games are not selling the way they used to. When you used to get a game,
Shadow of War did not sell because of the fucking like loot box thing, and only the people who didn't care about it bought it. So you know that's a whole thing. But honestly, I think Evil Within 2 that might have not sold very well because I think it just wasn't as good as the original. The original Evil Within was like, oh, this guy's coming back. He's doing another survival horror, and everyone was like getting hyped for it. And it had this good like look to it. It was very stylized. It was clunky, sure, and had a lot of issues, but it had a lot of charm put into it. Evil Within 2, even from what I saw of it, it looks good, but it doesn't look like it has any of the charm that the first one had. If anything, it looked like that the guy who made Evil Within 1 was kind of directed, okay, when you do the sequel, you have to do it this way, because, a lot of people did not like this for this reason. You gotta go with the mainstream with this one. And that's what it looked like. It just didn't look at all unique or even survival or horror. It doesn't look like that to me. It has good designs. I like some of the enemy stuff and all that, and the story might be interesting, but the story, from what it sounds like from the trailers, sounds kind of generic. Oh, I have to save my daughter, or this girl. Wow, okay. I don't know, I haven't played the game. I plan to at some point, but I need to beat the first one first.
Developed by a well-known game developer like, say, Cliffy B. Right?
Cliffy
the guy
B.
behind Gears of War. Those franchise, anything he would make should turn to gold, right? Well, he made Lawbreakers this year, and it flopped miserably. We're starting to see signs that the industry is on a decline when it comes to big AAA releases.
Yeah, notice the decline kind of started when season passes started to be mass-produced into every game, kind of started being hidden behind season passes, and then microtransactions came in. Like yeah, Overwatch had loot boxes, but a lot of people kind of said fuck it because they're cosmetic. That game is online only, it's multiplayer only, so you're gonna be grinding that game regardless, because if you like the game, you're gonna play it a lot. That's what that game feeds on. But when you apply that to every game, I think even Injustice 2 to a degree, because I kind of stopped playing Injustice 2. I dropped that game. I was really disappointed with that game, to be honest. The beginning of it was good. I like the beginning, but now when I go back to it, it's just I don't know. I don't get excited to play it anymore. I get more excited to play Street Fighter V, which is something. It's something. But that's the thing. I think that it's the loot box system. It's the microtransactions that are leading to this, because people are tired of getting nickel and dimed. And now every fucking console, you have to pay a subscription service. That's the thing that DSP's kind of ignoring. He's ignoring the PC gaming side, because I'm like a Cuphead. That sold millions. It sold a lot of money. It sold a lot of money. It sold money, guys. It sold a lot of games because on PC, most PC and Xbox One, but it sold a lot. And there's no microtransactions in it. It was just a fucking game, and that a lot of people wanted. But PC gets a lot of good sales because PC, you don't have an online service to pay for to play online. You don't have that. Steam is a very easy service to use. I've used it once, and then I forgot the password. Then that was a whole thing. But that PC gaming, it will never go away because it's a very lucrative system. Consoles, on the other hand, they are just open to fucking nickel and diming the customer.
Selling anymore.
But whatever.
And honestly, if you really want my opinion on it, I think it's a number of things. Number one, yes, it is oversaturation. It's that, we used to have, maybe there were 1-2 consoles competing, and yes, you had PC, but it was different markets. Now it's like everything's this one ginormous gaming market, and when you have so many options, gee, do I buy PS4, a PS4 Pro, an Xbox One, an Xbox One S, an Xbox One X, a Nintendo Switch? Do I get a high-end gaming PC? See what I mean?
with that logic, then TVs should be crashing as well, because there's a lot of TVs. Like when you buy a TV, there's a lot of research you have to put into. Like you have to make sure you get the right company, which company is the best. Oh, like which one gives you the best image, which one has the lasts longer. That kind, a lot of shit. You have to research a lot of stuff regardless, even with cars. Video games, cars are not fucking easy to fucking research. Like, you probably put more research in PCs than you do with consoles, because it's either, okay, PS4 or PS4 Pro. Well, the PS4 Pro came out later, and it has Pro in the fucking name. Okay, well, obviously that's the best one. Xbox One is the only one that's, like, a little weird, because there's Xbox One S and Xbox One X. That's the only thing that's, like, oh, which one, unless you, like, really know. But that's really easy to research as well. Because you have the fucking internet. You have the internet at your fingertips. So, like, okay, which console should I get? There. And a lot of it also has to do with what games you want. Do you want, more Japanese-centric games? Do you want JRPGs? Do you want this or do you want that? And that's what you get. You have to get the console that you want. And yeah, multi-platforms are nice because you don't have to worry about that, but at the same time, it's like, it's all preference. It's all preference. It's like, oh, are you a PC or a Mac guy?
There's so many choices now that it dilutes the market. When there were less choices, it was easier to say, oh, the big gaming console is this, and I'm going to go buy this and buy the hot new game. Now, just take a look at the busy fall gaming season, right? In a span of 1 month, and this is not me exaggerating, I'm going to read this straight off my calendar. In a span of 1 month, here are the game releases coming out. We had Middle-earth: Shadow of War, The Evil Within 2, South Park: The Fractured But Whole, Assassin's Creed Origins, Wolfenstein 2, Super Mario Odyssey, Call of Duty World War II, Sonic Forces, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Frozen Wilds.
Okay, I'm sorry, the Frozen Wilds, like, yeah, you can be excited for DLC, but it's fucking DLC. Like, who fucking cares? Like, oh, no, I shouldn't say that, but it's more of like, if you were to look at a game, like Wolfenstein 2 and Horizon Zero Dawn, which one do you think you're gonna get? You either get a DLC that might be like 1-2 hours long, maybe 3 hours or so, okay, whatever, but it's DLC. Or are you gonna get a $60 game that has a whole campaign and a $25 season pass, but the game by itself? Which one do you think would be more hyped? Which one do you think that you're gonna get? Probably Wolfenstein 2, unless you don't have $60 on you. Then you might get the Frozen Wildlands because that might be cheaper. But yeah, DLC is not like a big thing. DLC is not like a big thing that a lot of companies put into because it's supplemental to the game. The base game is, and that's kind of how a lot of people feel with games now. They expect the base game to be like a full experience. Like, oh, you should get the full game. That's why a lot of people hate season passes sometimes, because some people take content out of the game and repackage it as DLC. It is what it is.
Just be payback. Star Wars Battlefront 2. By the way, I didn't mention any of the episodic games that released during this time period. Oh, WWE 2K18.
Yeah, but those games are not for everyone, though. I did not like Star Wars Battlefront, and I played the Battlefront 2 beta. Didn't really like that either. And so far, the only thing with Battlefront 2 that I'm interested in is the campaign. But part of me is like saying like, well, then if it's just the campaign I'm interested in, I'll just wait for a price drop. Like, that's the other thing. A lot of people would just wait for these price drops, because when you look at Wolfenstein 2 and Evil Within 2 and even South Park, those games are all single player only games. So a lot of people just wait for those to drop in price because they drop in price a lot. And honestly, the sales of the games don't really reflect on the market. They just reflect on that game series. So, like, yeah, Evil Within 2 may not have sold as much as the first game or so, but that doesn't mean that, okay, well, video games are out. They're gone. No, because look at Mario Odyssey. That's going to probably sell a lot, to be honest. Whatever. You know what I mean.
See what I mean? All those games in 1 month, you understand how crazy oversaturation we're getting now? Like, it's out of control. It's to the point where there's no way that even if you're the most avid gamer on the planet and you're filthy rich, you still couldn't play all those games in a month. So this is what's happening now, is...
But people could still buy the game and play them later. Like, I've done that a lot of times. I mean, that's kind of a bad habit because that's how you form a backlog. But a lot of people buy games and they're like, well, I'm going to put this on the shelf for now and play it later. Or they'll just buy it later. It's whatever to them because it's no rush for the consumer to buy the game. And yeah, for launch, it kind of sucks for the game, but I think that ultimately game developers and publishers should stop looking at launch sales and just look at the overall sales within a year. Personally, but whatever.
We're getting cannibalism of high-profile games. It's not like it used to be. It used to be in the 90s, a high-profile game would release, and that would be the game. When Resident Evil came out, everyone played Resident Evil. When Metal Gear Solid came out, everyone played Metal Gear Solid.
Everyone played Metal Gear Solid. Everyone. That was a PlayStation 1 exclusive, and last I checked, the N64 was also around that time, so... I had an N64 myself. I was strictly a Nintendo fan back in the 90s and, around the GameCube era. Then I, got the PS2 and, it's history. So, I didn't play Metal Gear Solid 1 when it came out. I didn't play Resident Evil 1 either. I played the remake. That was the first Resident Evil game I ever fucking played.
You know what I mean? That was how it was. It was like, we want to... Well, not we want to, but there was a overwhelming amount of hype behind the big release, and everyone would play it. It's not like that anymore. Now,
it's not like that. There was no hype for Wolfenstein 2. I'm willing to bet that there was more hype for Wolfenstein 2 than Evil Within 2, to be honest. There's no hype for Assassin's Creed. No one gives a fuck about Assassin's Creed regardless. I mean, I'm sure some people are. Someone's gonna get triggered over that, but it is what it is. But, everyone's hyped on Odyssey. Everyone's hyped for, what's another game? Man, I can't even think of another game. Man, Dragon Ball Z. That's fucking hyped.
Now a game comes out, it's like, well, what do I play today? Do I play Assassin's Creed Origins, or do I play Super Mario Odyssey, or do I play Wolfenstein 2? I don't even know. All three games got hyped.
They're probably gonna play Mario Odyssey, because Mario Odyssey was an extremely hyped game. Everyone fucking, is, talking about that game. Everyone. Even people who don't have Switches are talking about it.
Right behind them. And this is what happens. There's oversaturation, and the market can't support it. There's not enough people out there buying video games to support this kind of crazy habit of what's going on here. So, that's the bottom line. Will we see a crash, per se, like we saw in the 1980s? I don't know if we'll go that far. Would we see an outright crash? The thing is, in the 1980s, video games were very popular, but they were seen as a fad for nerds, all right? It was in nerds.
A fad for nerds. Oh my god, I really hate when he says this kind of shit, because it kind of shows that he's not a gamer, or just... He is a guy posing to be a gamer. That's what I'm trying to say. Because the thing is that, when I got on N64, I didn't sit there I'm a geek, guys, I play video games. It's fucking video games. The most that they were seen as were, for kids. That's the one thing DSP has said on Twitter or wherever that kind of made sense, that video games were seen for kids. But now it's more accepted in adults. It wasn't a geek thing. Video games were not a geek thing.
Then the word nerd or geek was a negative association.
No,
that was an insult.
Oh
if I
my
called
god.
you a nerd or a geek, oh my god, how dare you?
Well, it's still kind of an insult to say a nerd and a geek, though. I mean, it's still kind of an insult, dummy.
Today, people will proudly say that they're nerds or geeks.
My god. Okay, if you're the kind of guy that goes around and says, I'm a geek, I'm cool, I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, you're a fucking idiot. No one fucking does that. No one goes around like, "Hi guys, I am a nerd." No, no, man. That
So they're into geek or nerd culture. Because
geek
now it's
and nerd
become more.
culture. There's no such thing as geek or nerd culture. This is fucking Big Bang Theory fucking thoughts right. I bet you anything DSP thinks Big Bang Theory is funny. I bet he thinks that show is hilarious. I guarantee it. Because there's no such thing as fucking geek culture. I'm sorry, but geeks, that shit, video games, movies, that's not fucking culture, it's fucking media. Because movies are for everyone. Everyone can go see the movie. Oh, if you're a movie buff, does that mean you're a fucking geek? No. Oh, you like Star Trek? Oh, you're a geek. No, fuck that. There's no such thing as geek culture. No such thing. I'm sorry to burst that bubble and that illusion. But I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting to this, but to me personally, I don't think there's such a thing called geek culture. It's as legit as people bragging about being geeks. It's as legit as that.
Mainstream. We've got entire subcultures that are based off of it.
Subcultures.
And now it's
Get the fuck
gaming,
out of
video
here.
gaming in general is the biggest, most profitable franchise or thing in entertainment. It's bigger than movies. It's bigger than music. It's bigger than TV. It's actually bigger than everything.
I don't know if it's bigger than TV. Well, I don't know, because I think streaming services are getting up there. But, whatever.
Okay, it really is. It's the largest thing going on right now is gaming. So would I see a whole market crashing? I don't think so. But I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to see, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder for certain games to get noticed. It's going to be harder, even AAA games. If they don't have ginormous...
No, AAA games are going to get noticed easily. The only games that are going to get, like, really fucked are the games that are not perfect, but they have a lot of charm and effort and passion put behind it. Like, you know, like indie games, for example, are a big victim of it, unless you're like a very known indie game developer, like that game company. But, you know, a lot of these indie games have a hard time getting noticed or recognition, and that's a shame. AAA games, they don't have to fucking worry. They have name recognition immediately right off the bat. They don't. And a lot of the companies, they're like they don't give a fuck if that game does not sell very well at launch, because they know they can make the money back with DLC, season passes, and later on. They know they'll get their money back regardless. Like Call of Duty, do you really think Activision's gonna like lose sleep if World War II doesn't like sell 1 billion copies? No, they can be like, oh, well, whatever. We have season passes, we have DLC, and then these people, the people who didn't buy are gonna get the Game of the Year edition. So we'll see them then.
Advertisement budgets. All right, it's gonna be hard for a game to get noticed. Case in point, like I just mentioned, Evil Within 2. From all reports, I mean, I played it, I loved it, better than the first game. Okay. You know, many improvements, giant, you know, really good story.
Better than the first one. Hold on.
Evil Within 2. From all reports, I mean, I played it, I loved it. Better than the first game.
Okay. Better than the first game, okay. Remember that.
Okay. You know, many improvements, giant, you know, really good.
Many improvements. What are the improvements? Giant story, great story, very, very good story, very big story.
Everything about Evil Within 2 was an improvement over the first game. The first game was a massive seller. 3 years later, Evil Within 2 hasn't sold as much as the first game.
Because a lot of the stuff from the first game, from what I saw, because I was watching him play the game, is that they don't have a match system anymore. Like in Evil Within 1, you would see corpses, and you have the option to burn them. If you don't burn them, they might get up and attack you or whatever. There's a lot of like benefits to burning an enemy. They got rid of that in 2, and from what it looked when he was playing it, 2 seems more of a shooter than the first game. And the first game wasn't necessarily not a shooter because it had shooting segments, but 2 seemed more of a shooter than the first game. I don't care what DSP is gonna try to tell you it's the other way around, but I disagree, because in 1 it seemed more intimidating and kind of pushing you back, and it kind of had a better emphasis on stealth. In the second one, it just seems that shoot, fire, or you can just run past enemies. I don't know.
But now compare that to Destiny 2. Destiny 2, hugely hyped. Everyone's going to play it. Massive advertisement budget. You saw ads for it for 2 months straight over the summer till it finally came out. That game sold like crazy. So this is going to
I kept seeing a lot of ads for Evil Within 2 as well, but the reason why Destiny 2 sold a lot, most likely, is because a lot of people believed Bungie learned from the first game. Or so that people liked the social interaction that Destiny has. They like the grinding. There's a lot of reasons why people bought Destiny 2. I think that people who were burned by Destiny 1 probably did not come back, or they did come back thinking that Bungie learned their lesson, and in some ways they have, but, whatever.
be the difference now. Maybe games aren't going to be really about aren't going to be really about the game anymore. It's going to be more about marketing, and I'll be honest, that's kind of what's going on with movies and TV, right?
That's every fucking form of media is marketing. All of them. All of it. Even back in the 90s, it was about fucking marketing. Look at the marketing from, like, when Nintendo and Sega were going at it. Marketing is everything. It's not a new thing, Phil. Marketing is not a new thing. Marketing is one of the key components of selling a fucking game.
The big movie is the one that you see the ads for like crazy for 3 weeks, and then everyone goes to see it at the movies. It's not necessarily, oh, that's a good movie, and by word of mouth, everyone heard the movie is good, and then we go see it. It's, oh, it's the one that I saw the ad for 100 times on TV. So, sadly, I hate to say it, but it seems like that's the kind of direction that we're going.
Uh-oh. Take a sip, chew the water.
Do we see a market crash of video games? I don't think so, but I think what we're going to see is we're going to see less games from big AAA game developers that are going to become the best seller of the year. We're going to see a lot of things that are different. Like, for example, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, right? Virally, the game
he shat on, and now he's going to be like, oh, this game, man.
Becomes popular. That game didn't have a lot of advertisement. It was all word of mouth and people playing the crap out of it, right? Games like Minecraft. You're going to see more games like that become popular, while the AAA games maybe will not be as popular. We're going to see a shift, I think.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, shout out to Hank Duma.
He's just basing it off of fucking streaming. Like, out of streaming popularity. Just because a lot of people stream it and a lot of people play it doesn't mean that everyone bought it. Like, you know, like, a lot of people can buy Call of Duty and like, half of them stream it. Does that mean that the game bombed? No. Just saying.
Who tipped me $100 and says, just a small donation to help you in Broketober. Thank you very much, Hank, for the tip. I appreciate that. Wow, thank you very much.
Yeah, you really need to help, guys.
A longtime fan and also a Patreon. I recognize his name from Patreon, so...
So this guy gave him money on Patreon, then he gives him more money. Okay, it's his money, but that's fucking...
Thank you very much, Hank. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Let's
wow, he's on very excited.
Well, this one is a few questions from El Trumpo. He says...
El Trumpo. He says, will I ever make a series where I react to my old videos? I do that sometimes. I still have to do it. I started a endure my old videos. I fucking... Oh my god. Actually, I'll be honest. The videos I've been enduring on YouTube aren't as bad as I was expecting. They're bad. They're fucking bad. But they're not like, oh my god, kill me. The ones on my Facebook, on the other hand, those, every time, like, Facebook does this thing now where it's like, oh, remember this? And they like ask you if you want to share an old memory or whatever. And Facebook keeps showing me my old fucking videos I used to record just for Facebook because I was a fucking idiot. Those are by far the worst things I've ever uploaded on the internet. The worst. I don't even want to share them. I don't even want to share these. I want to ignore them. And you just have to go by my word. It sounds like I'm hyping it up, but I listened to like 1 minute of a like a 3-minute video or a 5-minute video, however long I fucking ranted, and I wanted to kill myself. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. Maybe I will show one of the videos in a video. Maybe just to show you how bad they are, because it's like a whole other thing of garbage. I didn't even think those videos existed. I did not even think they existed. Oh my god, I'm dying on the inside just by thinking about it. I have to listen to what Phil has to say. But I will continue to enduring my YouTube videos. The Facebook ones, I want them to be lost in time and never be uncovered. But I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind. I just don't. I just can't believe they exist. Oh god, man.
Let's see. A suggestion I have for a new series. I hope you'll take it seriously. Maybe you could react to negative montages like This Is How You Don't Play, or rage montages that show you raging or doing something hilarious during the game to get your retrospective.
Oh, dude, he would never do that. And even if he did, all it would be was him making excuses. Like, you kind of get that regardless when he plays the game, because and his pre-streams and his rants, and when he calls people idiots for calling bad games, he will just sit there and be like, yeah, well, I said this is stupid because, look at it. It's terrible. Eck. You know, he's just gonna make all these excuses. There's really nothing to gain.
You can get a laugh out of what you did back then. I don't care which channel you do it on. Most popular YouTubers like to do videos where they go back and react to their old videos, and it doesn't take much effort. You just find a good montage and watch either live on YouTube or on demand. There's plenty of montages. Please, this is just a suggestion. Don't hurt me. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. I don't know if you know this. Here's the thing. Just going to throw this out there. I don't typically adhere to the formula of what every other YouTuber does, or what...
Yeah, he just adheres to what's popular on Twitch. Like, getting bits, doing shoutouts, being a cam whore, titty streamer.
It's popular on YouTube. Over the years, I always do kind of my own thing. Now, there have been sometimes when, you know, there have been examples where, yes, maybe I adopt something that someone else does or whatever. But for the most part, I march to the beat of my own drum, all right? I am fully aware that big YouTubers, typically what they've done, it's a series that almost every big YouTuber does, especially big YouTubers who have been...
I'm a big YouTuber, guys, because I react to my old videos. Oh, man. I made it, guys.
For years, they go back to their old videos, and they watch and they do commentary over them, like live, live reaction to my old gameplay style and shit like that. I could easily do this. I could either just go back and get the videos and watch them, you know, myself, or like he suggests, I could go watch it. This Is How You Don't Play, maybe, of one of those.
But I don't want to spread the negativity, okay?
Here's the thing. I'm not gonna watch it. This Is How You Don't Play, and here's why.
What?
Number one,
why? You can form an intelligent opinion on it, and then when you say that, well, it's garbage, This Is How You Don't Play is funny, you can finally say, well, I watched one, and this is why I think it's unfunny. No, he doesn't want to do it. He wants to keep his ignorant beliefs as to what he thinks is in a This Is How You Don't Play. He wants to keep that mentality, guys.
It's just going to propagate negativity, because that's what those are about.
You propagate negativity your fucking self. He does it himself. He doesn't... You know what? No, he doesn't need to watch fucking This Is How You Don't Play or whatever. He does it himself. He brings on negativity himself. Let him do it himself. He's such a fucking idiot.
And number two, because a lot of the This Is How You Don't Plays have a lot of negative shit put into them that has nothing to do with the gameplay. So,
okay, are you gonna give us? Let's hear. He might give us an example. So let's hear.
For example, I don't want.
Here we go. An example, guys.
To be watching it and commenting, and all of a sudden a big negative comment, "Go die in a fire," pops up on the screen and shit like that.
You said that yourself many times to other developers. I don't want to see people telling me to die in a fire, but I remember I told the game developer I had a system in suicide because I did not like this wrestling game I was playing. Ugh. Remember when I said to this Ken player that you should die in a fucking fire? Eck. But, oh man, when it's against me, I can't handle it, dude.
Who wants to see that, you know? So, no, I'm not going to do that. But, I mean,
who would want to see that?
Makes sense to eventually...
Yeah, who'd want to see that? Not the guy who asked the question.
One day do a retrospective where maybe I do pick... Let's say fans vote on playthroughs. You know, it'll be a fan vote.
Fan voted. Of course, because he doesn't want to look for himself. He has to have his slaves do the work. Again, see, this is what I mean, that he sees his fans as slaves. So, you know, if you like DSP and you do whatever he says, you're a slave. Congratulations.
What would be the top 10 best playthroughs for me to go back and watch parts of? and then people could vote, and then whatever wins the vote, maybe I go back and I take 2-3 videos out of each playthrough.
Why not just do it yourself?
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Whatever. Have your slaves do it.
It's definitely a possibility. However, it's definitely not something I'm committing to. And I'll be honest, you see how busy I was this year. This year, I changed my style. My style used to be all made videos that's like an offline playthrough, right? And
his style is the exact same. It's the exact same commentary, the exact same interaction, the exact same shit. He didn't change nothing except for length, pop-ups, and just saying, thank you, Brightside Cook, for the $5,000 million bit tip cheer, dude. I appreciate that. Well, I went through a door. Cool. So different.
The streaming was just fan service. Now, the streaming has become more of the focus for me than anything else.
The streaming was the fan service. As he complained last year and many years before how he can't stream and he needs to stream for his livelihood. Okay.
The videos on YouTube are more a fan service. I just do that because there's people who watch me on YouTube for years and years and years, but my focus is really on the live streams.
YouTube's fan service. So you should be okay with... Then where's the KO Gaming videos? Where's the fan service in KO Gaming? Where's the fan service in that? You know, if DSP Gaming gets completely demonetized, let's say that YouTube demonetizes DSP Gaming, do you think DSP is gonna be like, okay, well, or is it gonna fucking flip his shit, make a drama video about it, and stomp his feet? The King Fade Vlogs got demonetized. He was so disappointed and upset that his precious vlogging channel was fucking. You know, I want to show this fucking tweet. I really have to show this tweet. This is a worthwhile tweet to find. I think Dragon Killer posted it. I don't know if it was one of the tweets that he posted, but let's go on a merry journey, because this is should be this. Oh, come on. Come on, Dragon Killer. Don't fail me now. Here it is! Yesterday's DSP tries it was flagged as unsuitable for advertisers. This means that my vlogging channel is now just fan service, I guess. Sigh. Look how excited he is that his vlogging channel is fan service. He really appreciates his fans so much that he thinks fan service is a negative thing. And I can say, well, but you're just twisting his words. Then what was the point of just saying this part? He could have just said, oh, yesterday DSP tries it was flagged unsuitable for advertisers. Leaves it at that. He could have just left it at that. No, he adds that, oh, it's now just fan service. Sigh. He doesn't think that sounds kind of negative, like oh man, now my vlogging channel is for fan service. He sounds so disappointed that he's doing this for fan service now. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, he really appreciates fan service.
Reaction, looking at your messages and stuff like that, okay? So I really.
But remember, if you go to his chat and you mention something personal that you want to share with him and be like, oh, whatever, like War Dog did, you could get banned and fucking chat on, and the community will join in, because his community is full of toxic motherfuckers that you don't really want to talk to be honest.
Focus on live streaming all the time, and live streaming gameplay is my forte. If I were to take time away from doing live streaming of these new games and releases and stuff to do a new series like this, would it catch on?
Would it catch on?
And that would be the thing. I can't dedicate a ton of time and effort to do videos like this if they didn't catch on and people didn't like them. So
yeah, take that, fan service.
I don't know. It's definitely a good idea. Thank you, El Trumpo, for the suggestion. It's something that I'll keep in mind as something maybe for the future, and we'll see if people have interest in it, okay? His next question, what is your favorite bra size? Well, you know, typically I go for like a nice, maybe an A or a B cup, but lately I've been going for C's, you know, and also I wear the ones like Madonna, those big cones. You know, I like those bras too, the ones that poke your eye out. There you go. Honestly, I think what he's really meaning to ask me is like, am I a boob guy and what's my favorite size of boob and stuff like that.
Am I a boob guy? What's my favorite size? She's probably just asking, what's your favorite boob size? Not that, are you a boob guy?
But that's not what he asked. So my favorite bra size. There you go. And his last question, if a game has multiplayer, would you consider doing multiplayer with those who ask you, who added you on consoles? I think what he's saying is, because I actually know who this guy is, he loves multiplayer gameplay, and over the years, he always tries to play with me whenever there's a multiplayer game. And in particular, he had just recently asked me, could I play a Call of Duty with you? And I said, well, when I first play Call of Duty, I know I'm just going to do some random online play. I'm not teaming up with anyone. But, you know, more than likely what's going to happen is if Call of Duty World War II is good, a bunch of my viewers will buy it, and maybe they'll want to do multiplayer sessions with me, and then yes, you could get in on it. In addition...
I like how he has a fan that's willing to play with him. Doesn't want to play with him at launch night. Wouldn't that be kind of cool though? Like, oh man, you're joining me on launch night. No. Instead, okay, you gotta come in when I want you to come in, okay, dude? Okay.
Okay. What I also do is patron events. So here you go.
Oh yeah, you gotta pay.
But what I'm gonna have
okay, so you either have to be his like super duper slave and kind of like, you know, suck his dick really hard to play with him for free, or you can just pay to play with him. One of the two. But either way, even if you pay him, you have to suck his dick regardless. So either way, you're stuck being his fucking bitch boy. So
actually do. This is going to be the Patreon goal for December. Is if you pledge $5 or more to my Patreon in December, you'll be able to do a multiplayer event with me in January. Meaning you'll be guaranteed to play multiplayer gameplay with me in the hot new releases. Games like Call of Duty World War II, right? It's one of the biggest ones that everyone's going to want to play. So...
but only in this window of time, because as soon as other games come out, he will never play multiplayer games of old games. He'll never go back to them, which is really fucking dumb. He could have done a multiplayer event any time of the month, any time of the year, and he's like, I don't want to do it because I want to play with the new games, because he needs the quadruple dip, which is fucking retarded.
There you go. That's kind of how I do it. Usually I just do random multiplayer. If there's a game that I really like to the point where I want to play it at length, then yes, I will do multiplayer lobbies where people can join me. I mean, even with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I did a lobby where I challenged all my viewers.
For like 2 days or so, and then you deleted the game and cried about it.
Right, stuff like that. Okay.
If someone says, I want to play with you with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, you'd say, no, fuck you, I don't want to play that game. That's the thing, like if you want to play multiplayer with DSP, it has to be on his terms. It can't ever be on your terms or a compromise. It's either his terms or get the fuck out.
These next few questions are from Nick, so let's go through Nick's questions. His first question, he says, given your current financial situation, would bankruptcy be a valid option? This is
I can't speak for it because I'm not in bankruptcy.
So it would be nice if you could explain it. Well, I'll be honest with you, Nick. I don't know the ins and outs of bankruptcy. I know how it works. I know that there's qualification. You need to be.
I don't know the ins and outs, but I know how it works. Okay.
Qualified for bankruptcy in various different ways. One of which is you need to have a certain amount of debt. So I would need to make sure that the amount of debt that I have qualifies to declare bankruptcy. Basically, I think what it is, it's a ratio.
He doesn't have enough debt to qualify for bankruptcy. He's on the verge of losing his house. 2 mortgages. Not on the verge of bankruptcy.
Ratio of how much money you're making versus how much debt you have. And then you can qualify for certain levels of bank or certain types of bankruptcy where basically you'll say, yeah, there's no way you'll ever realistically pay off the debt because of your financial situation, and you can declare bankruptcy, and what that does, it negates certain things. It doesn't negate everything. A lot of people think, oh, it just wipes the slate clean. No, it doesn't actually. I think in this case what would happen is certain revolving debts, like my credit cards, would be written off, but other things would not. Installment loans in particular, a lot of the times do not get written off. You're still responsible for those.
I don't know much about bankruptcy, so I can't really
Let me put it this way.
Much. So
Bankruptcy,
it is what it is.
all right, would only happen like as a last resort. For example, I doubt they would even allow me to declare bankruptcy right now because I own 2 homes. I own this house in Washington, and I have the condo back in Connecticut that I can't get rid of. I'm stuck with it. I think what they would actually require me to do would be I'd have to sell this house first in order to declare bankruptcy, which means I'd have to move back to the shitty condo in Connecticut, which I don't want to do. So, you know, and in addition, there's other things that I could do if I did get to the point where it was so bad that financially I couldn't pay the bills and make ends meet. What I would probably do, honestly, is call my credit card companies and talk with them and explain the financial situation. Say, look, here's my income. It's declined over the past year. Every year, year after year, I'm making less and less. And, you know, the money spent on these credit cards was to, you know, things years ago to finance the house and keep things afloat and keep the business afloat. And there's no way I could pay it off. So what I would do is...
Okay. Again, I can't really speak out of experience of this, but I don't even think you could call the credit card company and tell them, well, can I pay less than what I actually owe? I mean, at most, like, you might be able to, like, get them to, like, let's say that you mail the check late, let's say, you might be able to get them to kind of remove the penalty because you're like, well, it's an honest mistake, I wanted to send early, whatever. They could probably do something with you there. But I just don't believe that they're going to be like, oh, your financial situation is good. Okay, Phil, this is what we're going to do for you, okay? You can pay half of what you owe, okay? And we'll pretend this never happened, and we're going to be happy, okay? We're going to be happy together. I don't know. I just don't think this what he's describing is even possible.
Negotiate with the credit card company and say, I still want to pay you. I just can't pay you what you want me to pay you on a monthly basis. So what would end up happening is all my credit cards would basically get closed. I'd never be able to use them again. But maybe they would negotiate so I pay half what the minimum monthly payment actually was. Now that would suck because it would probably take ridiculous amounts of time to pay off if I ever would pay them off. And it would hurt my credit too. But
I mean, I guess in that sense, like, to change how much you pay monthly, I guess that's possible. Again, I can't really say, but that sounds fine. I just think that he kind of worded it weird because he was like, "Oh, I'll negotiate with them." No, you're just probably changing the amount you can owe. It's not really negotiating because they're probably gonna tell you, "Okay, you can't pay the current bill. Well, we'll give you this much." Then he's gonna be like, "Okay." Like, I don't think it's like, well, how about $50 a month? No, I don't know. I'm just throwing out numbers. I don't fucking know. Whatever.
Option than, like, losing the house, right?
But you lose the house right now, though. Didn't you say you lose the house?
That's kind of, the situation. Bankruptcy would be, like, if things insanely got bad. Like, let's say, on top of all my financial troubles already, and by the way, there's other stuff going on behind the scenes, too, that you guys don't know about that I've alluded to and haven't given you the full story on. If everything went horribly wrong at once, like, let's say I had a debilitating disease and I couldn't even work, right? And something else crazy happened.
So him possibly losing his house isn't the worst case scenario. Okay.
And now there was literally no way that I could make money and pay the bills. Then maybe I could declare bankruptcy, but that would be like the last case scenario on top of everything, okay?
What?
Okay. This next question. He says, would it really be that bad if you moved back to Connecticut? You could move in with your parents and repurpose the condo as a studio.
Okay. This is going to sound kind of weird, but there is technically nothing wrong with living with your parents. It's embarrassing, sure, but, it's better than being homeless. I don't know. I mean, I would think that these people would rather live in a place that has at least people to talk to, and maybe he can get his life together. Like, that's the thing. Like, he could just move back with his parents temporarily. He doesn't have to move back in there for life. Like, he can stay there until, like, he either gets situated somewhere else, or things go better for him. He doesn't have to stay with his parents forever and ever and ever until the day that you know, unfortunate shit happens. But you know, whatever.
Not how it works.
Not how it works.
First of all, I couldn't move back in with my parents. The house is completely different now. They have their own stuff set up there, and that would be.
Oh yeah, because you know, obviously, if you go to your parents and you say, like, "Hey, you know, I can't. I have to move out of my house. I have no place to go." You know, and even though they're probably gonna be like, "Why don't you go to the condo?" But I mean, I'm sure his parents will be like, "Okay, yeah, sure, we'll make a room for you or whatever," because I guess I'm going on the assumption that his parents love him. I don't know. I don't know his parents. I can't really say. But I assume that they love him. So if Phil needs their help, I'm pretty sure they'll be willing to, like, you know, clear out a room for him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, is his parents gonna be like, I don't know, Phil, you're 35. No. But I don't know. Maybe the Wolverine toy really, like, you know, fucked him over, maybe.
It'd be ridiculous to move back in with my parents. It just sounds 35 years old. Let's move back in with my elderly parents. Would not work. Okay, that's number one.
Oh, and also the other thing is a lot of people do move it back in with their parents because they kind of want to take care of their parents when they get old. You know, like I don't know. I mean, it's this thing called you know, love. You know, you love your parents loves you, you want to take care, you both want to take care of each other, you know, it's like, you know, hand in hand. DSP apparently just wants to leave his parents and just talk to them on the phone, that's it. That's as much communication he wants to have with them. And for them to fix his toilet. Okay.
Number two, the condo could not be repurposed as a studio. That's not how it works.
Why? Why can't it be repurposed as a studio? But I did watch this, so I know a little bit ahead. But he says, like, oh, this room I play games. It can be a tax write-off, okay? So why can't the studio be a tax write-off? Why can't the condo be a tax write-off? Because you do your YouTube stuff there. I don't know.
Actually, legal ways that you have to do to qualify it. And so basically, it wouldn't work. I already checked with an accountant, you know, in the past, and he said, no, that condo in Connecticut could never be repurposed as like a home office or studio.
Why?
This, where I am now, is a home office because this room exclusively is used just for work. I don't do anything else in this room.
But why is that room a tax write-off? Because you do work in it. But if you have a condo, and you go to the condo to specifically just do work, that can't be considered as a tax write-off. And also, he fapped in his office, so does that mean that he fapped for the business?
But for recording and streaming, and that's it. Therefore, that's why this is qualified as an office, and it's a big tax write-off for me.
But why isn't the condo?
Connecticut would not work. I wouldn't get the tax write-offs I get
Why?
Now. My quality of my content would go down.
Is it like a state thing? Like, is it like, well, in the state of Washington, they allow this, and the state of Connecticut, they don't allow this. I don't know.
I wouldn't be able to do soundproofing like I have now. It would basically be a massive dip. I would be going back.
You can't do soundproofing in Connecticut? How does that make any fucking sense? You have soundproofing foam right fucking behind you. Just take it off the walls, pack it in your bag, bring it to Connecticut, put it on the walls. There you go. Soundproofing. Why can't you do that?
You know, 3-4 years in quality. My internet, right? My internet would always used to have issues there. My internet would go down for days and shit. It's the same content.
I have funky internet. I'm in Connecticut. I haven't had issues. What are you talking about? Maybe you got a bad provider.
no facility with the same shitty internet in the basement, the same fucked up stuff. The weather, everything.
Oh,
It would be basically the worst case scenario would
okay.
be if I have to go back to Connecticut because everything would be worse. My back would probably get fucked up again because I have to shovel snow again. It would just be awful.
Oh no, shoveling snow. Poor Phil, he can't shovel. But this elderly lady across the street from where I live, she's able to shovel her driveway. But not Phil. No, no, no. He can't do it.
So I'm really, doing everything I possibly can to stay out of there. All right. All right. Now, Nick's third question.
I mean, there's also a snowblower he could invest in. I know it's a crazy technology that snowblowers exist, but he could do that too.
You may play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds on PC. If you don't record it, you'll upload it. You'll upload via the.
I honestly don't. I don't care because he did kind of answer this question before. He just said, "Well, it's not going to upload properly." So there you go. Can VidMe become a real competitor to YouTube? No.
First question. Do you think that a website like vid.me would ever become a real competitor to YouTube? Personally, I think the only way it's feasible is if the majority of the largest YouTubers actually moved over there. YouTube is owned... I just spilled water all over myself. YouTube is owned by Google, and Google is the largest tech company around. You actually could run YouTube at a loss. Well, they actually run YouTube at a loss. Excuse me.
Don't you like those noises he makes when he drinks his water?
While it's not perfect, it seems the only way to run a website like YouTube and offer the same features as well as good advertisements, something that even Google struggles with sometimes. You seem to have to absolutely bleed money. A small company like vid.me simply doesn't have the revenue from other sources that Google does. Right. Listen.
YouTube is not running at a loss because they work with Google, and Google is a big company. I'm pretty sure YouTube's not going anywhere. They operated with no ads before.
Many companies over the years have attempted to compete with YouTube. Vimeo is one of them. Twitch or Blip.tv.
Twitch.
And many more. And the problem is they've all failed. What you need is basically a ridiculous amount of money to maintain a ridiculous amount of servers and have people all there who can maintain constant uploading of videos. Then you've got copyright issues. Then you've got securing advertisers to run on the videos. It's a giant undertaking. And yes, many people don't realize this. YouTube operates at a loss. They don't know how to make money. That YouTube has existed. It's the biggest video sharing website on the internet, and they don't make money. I know how stupid that sounds. It's
every site doesn't make money. Twitter, Facebook. I mean, Facebook, I guess, has ways now because you can promote shit there, I guess, whatever. But Twitter, all these sites. But the thing is with YouTube is that they're run by Google, and Google is a big company. And they have a lot of branches of things where they make money.
True, though. They don't make money. So, yeah, you're talking about vid.me. A lot of people recently have been bringing up this vid.me, the new thing, the company that's trying to compete with YouTube.
He has a VidMe account, by the way. So, just so you know.
Okay.
He even said in a previous, long ago, Ask the King that he was in talks with VidMe, and he's like, well, they're gonna contact me when they get good monetization, dude. Oh, I'm sure they will.
Apparently, yes, vid.me has advertisers. They're in a beta now where you can put ads on your videos, and you can make money that way. They also have subscription-based content. They're definitely trying to compete with YouTube. But would I jump ship from YouTube to vid.me? There's a certain case. I mean, the first case would be if other big YouTubers went over there and said, I've tried it and it works. Okay, I've tried it.
Why doesn't he just upload to VidMe? He can upload at YouTube still. He could do YouTube, Twitch, and VidMe. He already does nothing. All you do in VidMe is just hit upload. Like, why doesn't he just do that? That way he can, like, establish himself on fucking VidMe. No, I can't do it. No, too much work.
And it's working well.
He wants to adopt it at the last possible minute. You know, when like, near the tail end of VidMe's, like, thing, he wants to join. That's when he wants to join. He doesn't want to go ahead of time. He doesn't want to do things early. He wants to do it late.
I'm making decent money like I was on YouTube, so you guys should come over here. Number two, if there was a benefit to doing so. right now, what would the benefit be from leaving my DSP gaming channel, which has been around since 20?
To establish an audience on VidMe. So you'll get a huge following there. And then when the monetization improves, you'll get a lot of money that way because you'll have established a viewer base.
2010, which even though, yes, it's in massive decline, let's face it, because of all the changes and shit that's happened on YouTube, but I still get thousands of views on my videos.
Whatever.
So now, good luck trying to get those people who've been going to DSP gaming for upwards of 10 years to now, or 10 years, excuse me, 7 years, what I meant to say, to now jump over to another website. It's impossible. And trust me, I know from experience, when I tried to go to blip.tv, it was like pulling teeth trying to get people to go to a new website. The only reason I would ever try to go to, say, another video streaming website would be if they're, number one, proven to work, like other people have gone over there and they figured out it works, and number two, maybe YouTube for some reason shuts me down. Like, let's say YouTube canceled DSP gaming, they closed the channel, or they blacklisted it, I couldn't get ads on any of my gameplay videos anymore. Then maybe I would say, all right, forget.
But YouTube is fan service. You said... In the same fucking video, you said, well, uploading to YouTube is fan service. It's fan service. Now it's, well, if I can't upload to YouTube and get money, I'm going to VidMe. I thought it was fan service. Wow. Who would have thought he would lie about that?
Get this, I gotta try something different. But right now, YouTube is still serving to be a good supplemental source of income. I'll be honest, YouTube's about half my income every month. Right
then
now,
it's not fan service. Don't say it's fan service if it's not.
It's working. I'm getting about half from YouTube and half from Twitch, which is good. Because it used to be like 95% YouTube and 5% Twitch, and this year's been a big turnaround. Eventually what I want it to be is like 95% Twitch and 5% YouTube. But it's going to take a
5%.
while because some people don't watch my live streams. Some people can't watch my live streams. They say, you know, my internet's not up to snuff. It's not good enough to even watch your live streams.
Okay, it's 2017. How can no one watch his streams? Like, are they in a different country? Like, are they in, like, I don't know.
And I get that. I understand that. So already I'm getting people who are coming into the stream chat saying VidMe is ass. Don't go to VidMe. The quality of the website's not as good as YouTube and all that. I don't know. I haven't used it. Right now, like I said, the on-demand watching of my videos really isn't my focus. It's really the live streams have been my focus.
Which is it? Which is it? Because if uploading videos is not your focus, then why do you care so much about uploading to YouTube? Why do you care if you make money on YouTube then? If it's half your fucking revenue, then obviously you care. Obviously you care if it's half of your fucking revenue. Are you really telling me that you don't care? Like, this is what I mean. Like, he only says this to match his narrative, and here he flip-flopped in the same fucking video.
So for me, it's not a big deal in regards to everything going on right now with YouTube. I'd rather...
It's not a big deal. It's fan service, not a big deal. It's half my paycheck. If I can't make money on it, I'm leaving. Not a big deal. If he can't make money, it's not a big deal, guys. Don't worry. He'll just leave the website and go to another website where he can make money. Not a big deal. If it's not a big deal, then it shouldn't matter if you make money on the site or not. Pick what you want to say. Put some thought.
I just want to make my Twitch grow. Every month I get more followers on Twitch, people contributing to Twitch. That's what I'm looking for, okay?
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Sure, buddy.
Next question from Vera. She says, you recently played games like Danganronpa that don't fit the mold of what you've known for playing games like fighter shooters and RPGs. What genres have you never really streamed before that you'd like to try out on Twitch but haven't had the chance because of new releases and other factors? Jeez, I've covered most genres when you think about it. However, I mean, I've never played a MOBA, right? I really haven't. Turn-based.
I have nothing to say. What genres have I not given a chance? I don't know. Because I gave JRPGs a shot with Persona 5, and now I'm into that a little bit. I gave fighters a chance when I was younger. The only genre I haven't really played, probably strategy games like RTS, like StarCraft. But I don't want to try those games. Those kind of games look really boring. TBH.
style combat games, like League of Legends, Dota 2, those kind of games. I really haven't dabbled in that at all. And that's one of the hugest genres on Twitch are those games, and I've never played them. Would I ever want to? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a giant learning curve to jump into these games, and they already have these established communities, and I've heard if you try to get into them, it's very toxic. If you're not playing at a high level, people will just fucking rip your new asshole.
I think they would most likely just expect you to be good, and if you're not really good at the game, they're gonna kick you from the game. That's probably the most that they'll do, because, you know, like, those kind of things, those people take kind of seriously. It's very competitive. Like, it's, for some reason, a little bit irrelevant, I guess, but Metal Gear Online 3, they have a mode called Survival Mode, which is kind of like a tournament mode. A lot of people there in that mode take that shit fucking seriously. I got kicked out of my own fucking room because people were like, we're losing because of you, Theo. Oh my god. They got really upset and they kicked me. I was like, oh, okay, it is what it is. That's probably what they
so I don't
expect.
know. That's one. I don't know. What other genres of game haven't I tried? I'm trying to think. Is there really? If for years it was Minecraft, but then I tried that. All right, that's a good example. Try Hard for Life says, what about MMORPGs? True. I've never really gotten to an MMORPG in live streams or whatever. The thing is, the time that I tried to do World of Warcraft, look what happened. I tried to do World of Warcraft, and I just got monstrously trolled. And Warcraft literally had...
You played World of Warcraft before, though. You said it before. You played it before.
0 protections against it. There was nothing I could do
to
save myself from that. So, I don't know if I could ever even... I don't think MMOs really fit the norm of a game that I could play, because I would just get massively trolled. I guess that's the answer. It would be MOBAs and MMOs are the two that I really haven't dabbled with. And I don't think that MMOs would work. And I think MOBAs, honestly, would be too much of a learning curve.
Okay. Whatever.
All right. Next question. What do you think went wrong with the new Life is Strange?
Oh, okay. Let's read this question. What went wrong with the new Life is Strange game? I think it's just boring. It's a prequel game. For me, I wasn't interested in it at all. I think Life is Strange is kind of whatever anyway. The first game, I kind of played it because everyone kept talking about it. Hated it. It was really cringy. I did a playthrough on my main channel. Never finished it. I don't think I'll ever finish it, to be honest. I think I might have even deleted the game. I beat the game, but I didn't beat the game for YouTube. I didn't really care for it, to be honest. The bad ending was the best ending. But this one, it's just boring. It's like, I would have honestly been more interested if it was a sequel. I know technically they can't really do that because the ending was so different. With because you can either reset everything and all that, and then the other one is like destruction, and it's like, well, which one's canon? But I think if they did a sequel, they could do 2 sequels. You know, one following the bad ending and one following the good ending. But that takes work.
Game, particularly in terms of plot and dialogue. While the original game had some cringy dialogue and a pretty melodramatic plot, the cringe was at a level that I could expect for girls around that age. This one takes the cake. It takes it to a completely new level. It's unrealistically stupid at times. I don't know. You know, you got to see. I think what people were saying is it's not exactly the same dev team that worked on the Life is Strange Before the Storm as who worked on the original game. That could be it. It could be a new writing team that stepped in. But I agree. The dialogue for that first episode of Life is Strange was terrible. The dialogue was unrealistic, over the top, and honestly, I think the reason that the original Life is Strange game worked is because you had this element of, time manipulation, and you could go back and change things, and there was the mystery of how the time manipulation came into place.
The game never really
could happen with the time manipulation.
I don't remember. I don't even think the original game ever explained how she got the fucking powers. I don't know.
Mechanic, right? People getting shot and stuff. It was pretty crazy. And the Before the Storm doesn't exist at all. There's none of that. There's none of that stuff. Therefore, you've took the element that made the game fun and unique and interesting and made that cringeworthy stuff bearable. You removed it from the game. So obviously that's going to affect the game, and I think that's why this new Life is Strange game isn't nearly as good as the first one, because you took that element out that made it interesting and unique. You know? What are you going to do? And the final question, a company called Scientific Revenue have started to develop methods so that mobile games will offer players different prices for the same exact microtransaction based on how the player behaves. Is it ethical for games to charge different prices to different people like this? I can't really comment because I don't understand what this means. Like, what criteria are they using to judge different prices? Would it be like two people walk into a store? One guy's dressed nicely. He's coming in a business suit, a briefcase. It looks like he's a big money earner. And he wants to buy, I don't know, an iPod. I said iPod, like an iPhone. And the guy, okay, for you, sir, that's $599. Then a guy comes in, tattered clothing, walks in, it looks like he's been through the ringer. Looks like he probably doesn't make a lot of money. Maybe he's a construction worker. Maybe he's even like a guard. Who knows what he does? Some kind of low-income job. Comes in not looking good. Same iPhone, and they say, oh, for you, sir, it's $199. Do I agree with that? No, that's ridiculous. Everyone, there should be a price point for things that is the same for everyone. I don't know what the situation is here.
Neither do I.
Okay.
I don't get it.
So, that Anonymbear is actually talking about it. He says this is one of his questions. I guess Vera wanted to get an answer, so she asked it as her patron question. He says they're going to use things like when you get paid, how long you play the game, what kind of phone you use.
So now that Anonymbear is pulling a Derek and having Vera ask him his questions. Cool.
Different prices for the same microtransaction. So if you're playing the game on a cheap phone, it'll be cheaper to buy the same stuff. If someone's using an iPhone, it's more expensive. I don't agree with that. I think that's stupid. Right now, there's actually discrepancies because people who play games on Android versus iPhones. So, like, from what I'm going to understand, some games you could buy credits through the Amazon store with Droid, and then you get a discount. And therefore, people have been buying stuff on certain mobile games, and they get it's cheaper for them than people who are playing on iPhone. I've seen that before. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, that's kind of shitty, but
because here's the thing:
it is what it is.
Mobile games are pay to win.
It's fucking Apple.
They just are, and everyone knows it. Mobile games are pay to win.
Honestly, yeah, I have an iPhone, guys. I'm so cool, dude. But I don't really use my iPhone to play fucking MOBAs or mobile games MOBAs, but whatever. I'm not surprised that companies are like trying to milk Apple users because if they're able to own an iPhone, if they're able to buy an iPhone, they're probably gonna be able to buy whatever shit they sell.
We have to pay a ton of money in order to be the best. I play mobile games and I don't care about pay to win. So guess what? New character comes out. Typically, I'm waiting weeks, months. I'm grinding in a game in order to get the new character because you can earn all that stuff for free. It just takes a lot of time to get it for free.
Unless it's fucking Shadow of War. He will not grind for that game to get the ending, but he'll grind for mobile games. Okay.
Free versus people who pay up right away can usually get the new content right away. So, yeah, I don't agree with that. I think that everything should be equally priced. You shouldn't have one person getting a discount on it while other people don't. But let's face it. I mean, the whole thing, mobile games is a slippery slope. A lot of people argue it's gambling because when you spend currency in these games, you don't necessarily even know what you're getting. You might have the loot box syndrome, right? Where, buy a random pack of cards for this card game you're playing. You may get a good one, and you may get a bunch of shit. You don't know what you're getting. The whole thing's a broken system.
The whole thing's rigged,
So, in
dude.
my opinion,
rigged like
I don't agree. I think that everyone should be paying the same level if they're getting the same items. That's just my opinion. And shout out to Super Bat Cat, who just subscribed to the channel for the 8th month in a row. Thank you for the resub, Super Bat Cat. All right, so that's it for part 1 of Ask the King, folks. When we come back...
Wow, that's part 1. That's part 1. I thought there was more. Well, that's it for part 1 of Endure the King. Yeah, that's it for part 1. See ya in the next part.